The moon leans close, the night bends low.
The prairie held a deep stillness, that profound quiet that only settles after the fury of a long, soaking rain. Elias was out along the northern boundary, checking the wire, his leather boots giving slightly in the newly softened soil. That's when he caught it, a faint, mournful sound, barely a whisper on the wind. He stopped, his heart catching, and listened hard. There it was again. A voice, thin and trembling, definitely calling for help. He pushed his way through the tall, wet grass, following the sound until the reeds finally gave way. He found her huddled beneath the wide, sheltering branches of an old cottonwood tree. Her skirt was torn and dark with mud. Her face was stark white with pain. She looked up as a shadow fell over her, her eyes wide, glassy, and completely desperate. "Please, you have to help me," she pleaded, her voice barely a thread in the damp air. Elias knelt beside her. His touch was careful and steady as he pushed the wet strands of hair away from her cheek. "You are safe now," he assured her gently. "Just tell me where the pain is worst." She winced, pressing her hand firmly against her side. "My hip and my upper leg," she managed. "I must have fallen hard, but it hurts deep there too." A flush of embarrassment rose to her cheeks, but the suffering in her eyes was unmistakable. He knew how quickly a simple impact could become serious. "Let me just assess it," he said, his voice calm, giving her no room for argument. She nodded, biting hard on her lower lip as he carefully lifted the fabric near the injury. He found a nasty, discolored bruise on her inner thigh, swollen and clearly painful. But as he gently pulled the material higher to check for full range of motion, he caught his breath. Hidden beneath the grime and the surface blood was a vicious, deep laceration, already starting to show signs of inflammation. Elias froze. This wasn't just a fall. He'd seen injuries like this, and they were immediately dangerous. "We have to get you inside and clean this," he said, forcing his voice to remain level. "This cut needs to be sterilized and bound immediately, or infection will set in." She wept silently, tears tracing paths through the mud on her face. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't want to be a burden on anyone." Elias shook his head slowly, his voice gentle but entirely firm. "You are not a burden. You are hurt, and you need aid. That is all that matters right now." He carefully wrapped her in his canvas coat and lifted her into his arms. He was extremely cautious not to jostle her injured side. She clung to him, trembling from the pain and the cold shock of her ordeal. The journey back to the small house was agonizingly slow. Every step was measured. Elias spoke to her in a low, continuous rhythm, talking about the wild roses that would soon bloom and the vivid way the prairie changed color after the rain. He felt her tension ease slightly as the simple ranch house came into view. Inside, he settled her carefully onto the parlor sofa. He quickly brought warm water, clean linens, and his small medical kit. He worked efficiently, washing the mud and drying the wound, his large hands surprisingly gentle and skilled. She watched him, wide-eyed and silently grateful, her breath hitching every time he came near the laceration. "It's deep, yes, but I believe the bone is sound," he concluded, wrapping the wound with a professional, clean bandage. "You must stay absolutely still and rest, and I will watch it closely for fever." She nodded, profound relief flooding her face. "Thank you, Elias. I was terrified. I thought I would be left out there until morning." He smiled, the kindness warming his eyes. "You are safe now. I will look after you." She closed her eyes, exhaustion finally taking hold. Elias sat near her, keeping a silent vigil as the storm clouds broke away and the prairie settled into a profound hush. As the hours passed into deep night, Elias realized that the greatest kindness was often just showing up, being there to pull back the curtain of darkness, to face the emergency, and to offer steady comfort when all hope was gone. The night passed slowly. The ranch house was wrapped in silence, broken only by the crackle of the hearth and the woman's soft, uneven breathing. Elias kept watch, replaying the terror of the moment he found her. How close she had been to being lost, how much pain she had tried to endure alone. He checked her bandage every hour. Just before the first gray light of dawn, she stirred, her eyelids fluttering open. She looked confused for a moment. Then profound relief washed over her face as she saw Elias sitting there. "You stayed," she whispered, her voice husky. "Thank you." He smiled, pouring a fresh cup of water and helping her sit up slightly. "Of course I stayed. You needed someone." She sipped the water, her hand still trembling slightly. "My name's Clara," she said quietly. "I was on my way to my cousin's farm on the other side of the ridge. My horse was startled by a sudden flash and threw me. I must have dragged myself for hours before reaching that tree." Elias nodded, listening with quiet empathy. "You are lucky to have traveled that far. The prairie is beautiful, but it can be brutally unforgiving." Clara looked down, her cheeks colored. "I was so ashamed. I didn't want anyone to see how exposed I was. I thought if I just rested, the shook his head gently. There is no shame in needing help, Clara. We all do eventually. That is why we have each other. The swelling had subsided slightly, and the deep cut looked stable. You are truly healing, he said, relief clear in his tone. But you must stay completely off that leg for several days. I'll ride out and send word to your cousin so she won't worry. Clara nodded, her eyes shining with immense gratitude. You are a deeply kind man, Elias. I don't know how I can ever thank you. He shrugged, a rare small smile on his lips. There is no need for thanks. Out here, we simply look out for our own. As the day advanced, Clara rested, drifting in and out of sleep. Elias kept busy with his chores, always pausing to check on her, ensuring her comfort. In the mid-afternoon, he brought her a volume from his sparse shelf, and she began to read aloud as he worked nearby. Her voice was soft but steady. Elias soon found himself looking forward to the sound, a quiet comfort in the silence of his home. By evening, the pain had eased enough for Clara to sit up and watch the sunset from the window. The sky was painted in brilliant, impossible streaks of gold and rose. The prairie seemed to glow in the fading light. It is magnificent, she murmured. I truly feared I wouldn't live to see another sunset. Elias sat beside her, his presence calm and immensely reassuring. You are safe now, Clara. You are welcome to stay here for as long as you need. She looked at him, hope flaring brightly in her eyes. I would like that very much. I don't want to be a burden, but I don't want to be alone either. He reached for her hand. His touch was gentle, and his answer was clear in his steadfast gaze. You are not alone. Not anymore. That night, as the stars wheeled into view, Clara slept soundly for the first time since the fall. Elias sat by the fire, a quiet, deep peace settling over him. He understood that sometimes the most difficult wounds weren't the visible ones. They were the hidden hurts, the fear, the isolation, the loneliness. As the moon climbed high, Elias made a silent promise to help Clara truly heal, to give her a place of security, and to remind her that even the deepest hurts could be faced and overcome together. The days that followed were built on quiet companionship and small kindnesses. Elias tended the farm, always ensuring Clara had comfort and company. Clara's strength slowly returned. The pain in her leg lessened, and the wound healed cleanly under Elias's attentive care. As she regained her health, Clara began to help around the house. She swept the floors, prepared vegetables, and even attempted to bake bread, laughing heartily when her first attempt came out utterly lopsided. Elias found himself smiling constantly. The ranch felt immeasurably less empty with the sound of her laughter echoing through the rooms. One afternoon, a wagon finally appeared on the horizon. Elias recognized the driver, Clara's cousin, Mrs. Wilkins, her face creased with worry. She rushed inside, embracing Clara in a fierce, tearful hug. I was so desperately afraid I had lost you, she whispered. Clara smiled, her voice steady and strong. I'm entirely all right, adding. Elias found me. He took care of everything. Mrs. Wilkins turned to Elias, gratitude shining in her eyes. Thank you, Mr. Elias. I don't know how I can ever repay your generosity. He simply shook his head, a genuine smile on his lips. No need for thanks, ma'am. I was simply glad that I could be of assistance. Annie stayed for supper. The small house was filled with easy warmth and happy conversation. As the light faded, Annie took Clara's hand. You can come home with me now, dear. You are completely safe. Clara paused, glancing at Elias, a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. I would like to stay here a little longer, if that's permissible. I want to help Elias with the ranch until I'm absolutely certain I'm fully healed. Annie smiled, a look of deep understanding passing between them. Of course, child, you are always welcome home, but you are certainly old enough now to choose your own path. The following weeks were a harmonious blur of hard work and shared laughter. Clara's leg recovered completely. She grew stronger and more confident every day. She and Elias worked side by side, mending fence wire, tending the vegetable patch, and sharing quiet moments by the evening fire. The bond between them deepened, founded on unshakable trust, profound kindness, and the quiet courage it takes to face pain and choose to move forward. One clear evening, as they watched the first stars appear, Clara spoke softly. I was so terribly afraid, Elias, not just of the injury, but of being exposed, of someone seeing how much I truly hurt, how much I desperately needed help. But you never once made me feel ashamed. You just cared. Elias took her hand, his voice imbued with profound emotion. We all need help sometimes, Clara. There is no shame in that. What matters most is having someone steady to lean on, someone who will stay when the future seems hard. She smiled, her eyes shining with a new, beautiful promise. I want to stay, Elias. I want to build a whole life right here with you, if you will accept me. He squeezed her hand firmly, his answer clear and absolute in his gaze. There is nothing I would want more. As the seasons turned, the ranch flourished. Clara and Elias built a beautiful life together, filled with hard work, laughter, and the serene joy of finally knowing they had both found a place to truly belong. The wounds of the past finally faded, replaced by vibrant hope and the certain promise of new beginnings. On the anniversary of the day Elias found her beneath the cottonwood tree, Clara planted wild prairie flowers along the old fence line. Their colors were bright and brave against the endless green. She pressed Elias's hand in hers, gratitude and love shining in her eyes. And as the prairie stretched out before them, vast and full of promise, they knew that even the deepest hurts could heal, and that sometimes the greatest gift was simply finding that one person to pull back the darkness, to offer unconditional comfort, and to face every future together. Thanks, love you all.
Where the